guys, and it's a glorious day in Tassie, which is why I thought we might film this vlog outside, so hope it works. What I wanted to talk about in this video is the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. There are some fantastic concepts in this book, and I'd like to relate it to practicing music. So one of the concepts in the book is the idea of compounding. So the idea of compounding habits is a little bit like compounding interest that we talk about with money. So the idea there, if you haven't heard of it, is that if you put a little bit of money away each day and do it regularly and don't touch it over time, that money will eventually accrue interest, and that interest accumulates, and that money works for each other faster. So I thought that was a great analogy to think about when we're actually practicing. Because essentially when we're practicing, we're building up this bank of skills, and what might take you one piece hours and hours and hours to learn one day, if you keep practicing regularly, you'll find that it takes less time in the future for you to learn a piece. So I've got a real life example of that. I was never a great sight reader. I went through the conservatorium based on improvisation and learning by ear and all that kind of stuff. But there were times where I had to sight read, and when I think about playing in a musical pit orchestra, I played in a fair few musicals over the year, and I remember back to that first one, I used to practice for hours and hours and hours just to get that book ready for the first rehearsal. But the more musicals that I did, and the more that I did this process of getting ready for that first rehearsal, the time that it would take to get that ready would be a little less. And now I feel like I'm at the point where I could have a flick through the book that if I hadn't seen the music before, I could just do it on the spot in that first rehearsal. So there's some comfort to be taken away from there, where it might feel like it's taking you ages and ages to get somewhere. Just know that if you're investing time into your practice regularly, over time you'll build a skill base so you can learn pieces quicker, and eventually hopefully be able to do those pieces on the spot without a rehearsal or practice. That's sight reading, but also thinking of all the skills that you pick up in contemporary piano. Might be a chord inversion that you learn here, or a particular way a melody goes. The more and more you work on this broad skill base, it'll just feed into all the repertoire that you're learning, and hopefully it means that when you look at a piece, you can lean on all that technique that you've learnt and be able to really apply it to that piece and get it up nice and quick. So the goal here is thinking about incremental improvements. Just try and get 1% better every day, and over time you'll find that you'll be a lot more efficient when it comes to learning pieces. Another concept that's covered in the book is the idea of focusing on systems rather than goals. Now I really like this one, because you might have a goal that, I want to play in a band or this or that, and because that is one snapshot of your music journey, basically once you've reached that goal, you're just going to set another goal and another goal. So yeah, although it's satisfying to hit goals, there's sort of at finite positions of this music journey. The idea of focusing on the system means that you're actually enjoying that journey, and you're enjoying your practice routine. So if you're not reaching your goals straight away, that it doesn't really matter, because you're really focused more on the routine and the system and getting that part right. Ultimately, a goal is a snapshot in time, so once you've reached it, you've reached it. But the system that it takes to get to that goal is where you're going to spend most of your life in. So with that in mind, it's about trying to find an enjoyable practice routine, because a bulk of your time is going to be spent there. So try not to be thinking about the frustrations of not being at your goal yet, but more in the satisfaction of being in this wonderful system, this wonderful practice routine that's inspiring you, and you're getting a lot of enjoyment out of. Don't get me wrong, goals are still important, but use it more as a compass to guide that music journey rather than as an endpoint in itself. one of the things the book talks about is how we can actually set up our environment to make habits happen a little bit more naturally. James talks about this system, which is cue, craving, response, and reward as a good system for building habits. So the cue is really about prompting yourself to practice. That might actually be setting a reminder in your phone or knowing there's a set time in the day that you're going to do it. It might simply be, if you're using a keyboard, making sure it's always set up, it's visible. It might be whatever you're practicing to be up on the music stand so you know, oh, that's right, that's what I'm doing there. Now the craving is the fun bit. It's about making it really attractive to be practicing. So, you know, for me, I like to listen to other piano players because that provides me inspiration and means, I really want to be able to play like that. So I'll make sure, you know, I've got a lot of inspirational music on my playlist, which makes me more excited to hit the piano and get practicing. The response is about making it easy, thinking about reducing friction as much as possible. So like I said in the last one, it might be simply just making sure what you are practicing at that moment, or whatever it is that you're working towards, is up on the music stand, so you're reminded, oh yeah, that's what I've got to do. I don't have to go and get my notes or anything like that. It's ready to go. Might be making sure the headphones are ready on the stand if you're in an environment where you can't make a lot of noise. So just making sure you're technically set up so it's really easy to walk into that practice routine and there's no friction working against you there. And finally, the rewards. It's just about making sure that you're really rewarding yourself for putting that time in. You might have to set some extrinsic motivations there to start with. It might be, once I've finished my 15 minutes of practice, I'll make myself a nice coffee and read a book or something like that. So allowing yourself a reward for actually practicing there. But, you know, for me, I find practicing is the actual reward itself, and, you know, that's ultimately a great place to aim for. So yeah, look, these tips really, really resonated with me, and a final phrase that I wanted to share with you here is: habits are not a finish line to cross, but a lifestyle to live. Remember that if you can enjoy the journey of practicing, enjoy the practice routine in itself, you're going to be a lot more productive on piano, and you won't be so disappointed all the time because you're not instantly at this point overnight. It's about really enjoying that incremental, that gradual process. And if we can get into that mindset more, then you'll be enjoying your piano more, you'll be practicing more, and you'll get to your goals faster ultimately. I hope this tip really resonated with you. I recommend you check out the book, and I'll leave some links in the description below. Thanks for following the channel. I'm really enjoying putting these together for you, and I've got plenty more concepts that I want to cover here. But thanks to all the people who've reached out to me and given me some guidance and told me some of the ideas that they want to learn. I listen to everything there, and I'm planning videos in the future to answer some of the questions that you've got out there. Thanks for listening, and enjoy the rest of your day.